Yeah. It should say starting soon. Is there anything that promotes the crowd control thing? Like automatically on the screen? Oh, mobile? Oh. Okay. Alright, well, it might not work then. It might not work on mobile. I put the crowd control thing to the quote-unquote Twitch overlay, so I don't know, it should be there. But I can't see it in the Twitch dashboard. I don't think I can see it myself. Let me see if maybe I can open my stream up in a different browser and see if it works. Twitch recap, no way. It says that my stream is intended for certain audiences. May contain significant profanity or vulgarity. All right, that's kind of funny. Yeah, click here to interact with the stream. Ah, all right, cool. It works. All right, that is cool. That's nice. That's good. Okay. It works. So that's good. That's nice. Let me put this up and put this up. Okay. So that thing should work. That crowd control thing. Anyway, fucking Minecraft. I just be in a Minecraft mood. There's like over 400 mods in this mod pack. And plenty of pages. All I've done is spawn in and not die for one day. So. Okay, that overlay thing, it should be in the top left. It should be a yellow button. Is that visible? Or is it only visible for me? No? Oh, so it might only be visible for me. Oh, wait. Hold on. Actually... Oh, okay, yeah. So you don't see it on mobile then. I think actually on... Okay, and then I'm going to have to move. There we go. Move it like that. Because I think on my screen, it's in the top left. But I don't know if only I can see it or not. I don't think so. I hope not. Honey level 5. Okay. What the fuck was that sound? Oh. It's a bear. Okay. Another thing. Oh, volume is 100%. Let me see. Audio these. Let's boost. What the fuck? Hold on. Brandburb has awoken nearby. What the f— Oh, shit. I'm gonna guess that that's a mini-boss. While I... while I make the game louder. Let's boost it by... Let's boost it by 10 decibels. Right. And then let's go to the filter. Okay. Now, what is about to be the loudest this game is gonna be? Okay, good. I think that fixed it. Let me know if the game is too loud. But it should be good, because it's in the green. But this mod pack is a relatively quiet and cozy one, so I might have lied. He's walking at me. Oh shit, there's a mini one. Okay. Oh god, a moth. But this mod pack, all of Fabric, has like 400 mods. And then I added a whole ton of them. A whole ton more. Oh, Jesus. Things like the hydration and like some food things and temperature. So I've got to like stay warm and stay hydrated. That's going to take some focus. I would say. Here, let's do... Actually lower the audio a little bit by 5. Yeah, that's good. That's good right there. But this mod pack has a whole ton of quests and things, and I received a task. Oh shit. Fuck. All right. Never mind. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go into menus. Fuck that. Oh no, skeleton. What is that? Coconut. Oh, my inventory is full. Okay. I'm safe. I'm safe. Holy cave sounds. Okay, does this... Oh, that does work. Nice. Ambient lighting. Okay. I need to not die for a moment. Okay. Let's see. At dehydration. So with this dehydration mod, I need to like purify my water. Oh, please don't crash. Okay, thank God. Bowls of water. Oh, a chain. Okay. Wait. Hold the phone. But this water that isn't purified is gonna make my dehydration kind of worse. But if you just spam bad water, then it kind of just works out. Kind of. What is this? Ugh. Weapon variant. Whoa. A cutlass. Wait, is this like just like old Tinker's Construct? But new and cool? Wait, I want oh, I want a scythe so bad. Oh, that'd be sick. Maybe the Grim Reaper. Oh my god, and there's hoods in the game. I'm gonna be the Grim Reaper. That is absolutely what I'm gonna do. Oh, and I added seasons. So, like, spring, summer, fall, winter. That sort of thing. Oh yeah, and the quest. Okay, so... rewards. Oh shit, wait, maybe I shouldn't be doing these quite yet, so that I can... That's a lot of words. I don't need a map. What I do need... Oof, okay. I don't know if I want that. I don't know. Lurk, no problem. I wish that the thing would show up on mobile. I wish that would happen, but oh well. Oh yeah, and I've got diet to maintain so that I don't die. Sugars. Oh, there's coffee in this, right? Coffee? Yes. Awesome. Okay, good. Good. I'll leave this for now. Actually. What happened to that iron that I had? Oh, right here. Oh, and I believe copper now gets more uses, of course. With mods. Oh, guns? Ooh. Bullets. Laws. Wiring. Turntables. Whatever that means. A sprinkler. Trains. Backpacks. Omni Whopper. Whooper. A cheaper and slower hopper variant and omnidirectional. Oh. Omni. Oh yeah, spyglass. I specifically didn't put Optifine in this pack so that I could actually have a reason for the spyglass. And sort of what the oh my god, I can't sprint because I'm dehydrated. Ah, fuck nuts. Alright, I gotta get water. Oh, wait, I should take this iron. Oh, is that gonna crash? No. Okay, cool. Okay, doing that shows it so that I can... It'll only show things that I can make. Oh wow, it's lagging a good little bit there. Holy. And then shield right here. Okay, maybe I don't use that feature. I just build things off memory. Okay, so if I carry around a bucket of bad water all the time, then I I should have water. Oh boy. Where's water? Oh, well, here's mud. Surely there's water, right? Yeah, water. Yeah. For sure. I like the jungle sounds. Oh, I should put it there. Okay. Can I purify it this way? No. Brewing, extractor, draining. No, I can't. Okage. Okay, egg. Oh, it gives me thirst. Yeah. Dink donk water time. Okay. Bamboo leaves. What is that used for? Bamboo thatch. Also lurking. Hi, Merly. Thank you for the lurk. Minecraft hours is always cozy. Cozy time. Oh, wait. I was going to look up dehydration. Okay, so I have to make... Oh, I need more copper. Okay. And so... Oh, I should get a full water source then. Oh boy. There we go. Infinite water. Okay, so put that one there, and that one there. Yep. Okay, cool. Let's see. Oh, and then I have to put, like, a campfire. Wait. Oh, no, sticks and chain. Oh, boy. Where the iron? Oh, right here. Okay, chain, sticks, and this. Campfire, cauldron. Oh, wait, how do you use this? Oh boy, it doesn't say. I think I just put it over a campfire. Like an actual proper campfire. So that means that I need tree. And it's getting nighttime. Ooh, a bird. Tree. Ouch. Okay. Campfire. Oak coal. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so that should That should make, it says in the top left, campfire cauldron. Oh, well, wait, let's see. Is it instant or does it take a while? Nope, it's instant. Purified water. Ouch. How many do I get from this? Oh, a few. Ooh, nice. Alright, cool. Alright, so let's make all my water purified. Oh, wait, it's not instant. Okay. Good to know. I wonder how long it takes, though. Also, this mini-map is huge. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Purified water. Cool, cool, cool. And as soon as I can get a bamboo pump? What does that do? Huh. Anyway, as soon as I can get a flask, I'll do that. Alright, let's put all these useless things away. And then go mining, because that needs to happen before I can get going. Oh, and food. Uh-oh. Well, surely I'll find food in the caves. Surely. Never mind, this isn't quite a cave. But I hear zombies. Actually from all sides. Oh, and let's do that so that we can see. No, they're definitely this way. Are they up or down? I don't hear them anymore. Oh, they're up. Oh, that means they're on the surface, though. Okay. So, in that case... Oh, good, I get that back. I know I won't get this campfire back, but... In that case, if this cave is useless, then I should find anywhere else to be. I don't think I need that. We'll take mustard seeds and my iron back. And these books, I can make more of these books, right? Yeah. If I ever need them. Okay. I need to find anywhere to be. Well, studying is good. Studying is important. Oh, wait, it's nighttime. Shit. This is a nice ambiance, though. Run. Oh my god, a free shovel. the expense of... Oh my god, it's full durability. Oh, oh wait, it's like RPG stats. Wait, where'd it go? First. I hear someone walking up on me. Oh, it's a squirrel. Wait, that's not a squirrel. What is that? Hey, come back. What are you? Whoa. Whoa. You're so fast. Get back here. It's a lizard. Owner? Question mark. Can I tame it? Huge. Also, I like that. Wait, there's a geode right here. I can get a spyglass right now. What is it? Oh, this is a different geode. This isn't real. Can't make a spyglass out of that. Okay, I can't travel to the frozen biome because I don't have winter clothes. Peaches. Shit, my inventory. Okay. Damn. I'm thinking with my brain. I'm thinking, hold on. I want tea. I don't need 7 ingots. But I want peaches, that's for damn sure. Make myself a peach tree wherever I end up. Okay, I think the first thing I need to find... Crystal... The first thing I need to find is cows and or leather for both a flask and a backpack. Ooh, a bird. Oh, holy, generating new chunks. Ah, shitballs, it's raining. That's alright. At least with shaders, the rain is pretty. Where was that tower that I did? Oh, right here. Let me say, I definitely saw a tower. Oh, wait. Hold on. Where's the door? Hello. Knock, knock. Flawed gem of the earth. Luminous opal. Breach gem. Is this a wizard tower? Oh yeah, it is. Well, shit. That wasn't very cool. There's a trap chest. Wait, fits in chest plate, heavy weapons, leggings, shields, swords, tridents. What? What are these RPG stats? Unblock. Oh, unblock break. Gain speed for 16 seconds. Wait, for real? That can't be right. Oh my god, I get speed. Whoa. Wait, this is awesome. This is like traveling super easy, I say, as I damn near die. Oh, peaches actually don't have much food content to them. Okay, well, I'm gonna look at the map. Where should I go? Oh, this giant red thing, by the way, is like a giant mushroom, and that's where I initially spawned in. Oh shit, there's a mansion over. Oh, mansion over here. Okay. Ooh, I see a plains biome. That's where I'm going. Speed boost. Oh, I can't sprint. I'm thirsty. That's crazy. I get speed for breaking dirt? Oh, wait. Oh, the cooldown is 30 seconds. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, I understand. Oh. Before this happens and anybody thinks it's me in the real world, I have a whoopee cushion attached to my head in the game. So if I shift a whole bunch of times, my character will fart. Or, you know, the whoopee cushion will activate. That's a fucking ghost. Good fight. Good fight. What is that? Is that a snake? Wait, get back here. Yeah, that's definitely a snake. Look at him. No owner. How do I tame a snake? Oh, wait, is there... Oh, there's no mine colonies in this. Oh, that's fine. Okay. What is this? Just a cave? Is it a good cave? No. Unless that was coal. Yep. Well, there goes my pickaxe. Oh, that wasn't me. Oh, wait, now I'm stuck in here. Shit. My humor is so simple. Look at all this coal. Also, thank goodness for vein mine. So I can just get all that super quick. Also, already out of water. Oh, another ghost. Okay. Oh man. I've been looking and I don't see any actual wild animals. Like there's no sheep, there's no pigs, there's no cows. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do for food besides this lime tree, right? Yeah, limes. I guess I can eat limes for subsistence. Be a bit sour. Oh, my lime fell in the water. There goes all my limes. Whoa, fish. Wait, they're drowning? Or are you just doing that just for fun? Oh shit. No, they're drowning. Oh, wait, I'm gonna drown. Oh, what's this? A pondy. 1.5% protein. Okay. I'm a protein and fruit kind of guy. It is nighttime though. Oh. Oh man. Aha. A structure. Okay. A village, probably. I'm gonna go over there. They're gonna have food and probably livestock, and I would like to farm up that livestock and get some leather. Also, I will only be live for a few hours here in the morning. Then I'm gonna go somewhere, and then when I get back, I'll be live again. Whoa, he drops bones when he gets hit. Nice. Okay, I actually really need the arrows. What was that? What was that animal? Oh, it's a dog. Oh, wait, best friend. Best friend. Forever. Alright, dog, we're going this way. With me? With me, buddy? Is that you? Yeah, that's you. Oh shit, this is a cold biome, so my screen is gonna get frosty. Okay. Because I'm in a cold climate. So that means that I need to get warm. So I'm gonna do that by... well, first of all, this looks awesome. I'm going to do that by, let's see, what's it, environment. So there's something called heating stones that you can sort of heat up. Oh, I need a stone cutting thing. Oh, okay, what a process. Okay. Oh, an ice pack. What? Wanderer. Paper. Wolf pelt helmet? Wolf pelt? What? Polar bear fur? I don't want to kill Wolf. Wolf best friend. Okay. Alright then, how am I gonna... Insulated. Right. Okay. I'm thinking. Where'd my iron go? Shit, I used it. Damn it. Alright, I'm gonna have to take a detour around the cold climate then. Oh, that guy does not look friendly. Oh, he's fast and angry. Shit. Oh no, I lost my sprint because I'm out of water. Alright, run. Run and go left, this way. Ooh, peaches. Ooh, plums. Blackberries. Okay, I'm gonna eat a whole ton of food at the moment. Oh, I don't have inventory space. Oh, wait, yes I do. I quite like this rain, actually. It's very calming. Shit, it's another cold biome. Alright, so I think I just have to suffer through the cold biome to get to the warm one on the other side. But I also can't sprint, so I've got to hurry up. Iron. Man, this fucking coldness. Oh, wait, I can just do this. Oh, easy. That way it's not ugly. Oh, okay. I can't sprint. Hurry up. Get him, wolf. Get him. Make it. Make it to the other side. Alright, cool. Uh-oh. Alright, we made it to the village. Go sleep. Go bed. Open up. Get out of bed. Mine now. And I am very dehydrated. Okay. Oh my god, I have hiccups, IRL. Box. I need campfire. Dog, do not jump into that lava. How the fuck do you make... Oh, I need tree. I need tree action. Oh my god. I'm gonna die. Get out of the way. Okay. It's ridiculous. Okay. Don't die. Don't die. Strawberries. love strawberries. What the fuck? This is poison? Poisonous when... Ah, shit. I should have read it. Should have read what it said. Spinach. Just eat a leaf of spinach. Hey, bud. These guys have guards. Ooh, an orange tree. What the fuck? Alright, let's see what you got for loot. Nice. Mine now. Food. What does this have? Grain. Nice. I need a backpack pretty desperately. Wait. Why did my FOV change? Fall damage taken. Oh, hey. The advancement thing. Fall damage taken is reduced by 20% when attacked. Gain speed for 15 seconds. This item ignores 9% of durability damage. Whoa. Plus 0.5 step height. Oh, so I just automatically walk up blocks. Okay. That's not going to be annoying at all. Surely. I do like the movement speed increase, though. Maybe. Maybe not. Oh, wow, there's going to be stuff everywhere. Oh, cool, crystals. Alright, cool. Now I can make a spyglass. They've got this stuff. Okay, actually, I don't like these boots at all. They suck. I'd rather go without them, to be honest. Okay, tomatoes, beetroots, tomatoes, beetroots. What's this? So tiny. Pumpkin stem. I don't see livestock anywhere. I was really hoping for some leather. Food. Okay. Alright, number one priority, leather. Oh, can I just make leather? Some mod packs have that. Oh. Polar bear hide. What the? Panda hide? Fox fur? I am not killing foxes. Oh, speaking of which, I saw some over here. If I hover over you, does it say tameable? It doesn't. So all the other animals are tameable, but not the fox. This is some bullshit. It's a scam. What the fuck? Oh, a music disc. Damn, I really need leather. Ooh, a horse. I could kill a horse. Village number 1. Save Waystone name. Player corruption. Empower your corruption potion-based abilities, but descend into madness in the process. Oh, a Doctor Strange mod. Cool. Wait, open up. Oh my god, it's a kitchen. Holy shit. We got a skillet. We got a cutting board with some meat. Cutting board. Some rope. Food. An iron cutlass. Okay. Oh. Okay, well, it looks like they only have a horse for livestock. I'd rather not. Oh, they have 2 horses. I heard a cat. What the fuck is this? A spell binding table. Tome of Arcane. Tome of Fire. What is going on? I can become a wizard. A diamond great axe. Well, I found my new weapon. Holy shit, this thing. It's huge. Ooh, and slow. But it's got looting 1. What a fucking find. If it has looting, let me find some cows. I heard a pig. Do pigs give anything? Pigs drop. Pig head, ham, pork chop. Okay. Nothing I can use to make leather. I'm gonna go back to that village sometime and get those horses. Because I have a feeling horses are gonna be very rare and hard to find. Ooh, a deer. But also a moth of some sort. Fuck, I don't like moths. Hey, deer. Fucking dead. Antlers and venison. Damn. No hide. I can use the antler for something. Oh, wait, I can. Potion of the Forest Dasher. Speed? What? This is crazy. Not as useful as venison, though, I'll tell you that. Sorry. Sorry, dear. You die, though. Get the fuck out of here. Disgusting. Abomination. Okay, now that I know that these towers are rigged with TNT, how about I don't blow up? How about I don't lose all the loot from this thing? So yep. That'd be nice. Okay. Ooh, a chest plate. Magic damage taken reduced by 9%. What? Okay. As long as it doesn't mess with my, What? Comb cutter. Mines combs, hives, nests, and wax blocks faster. Doubles output of any bee nest or beehive blocks. Tradable, not treasure. Well, I don't have an anvil or any experience levels, so I do not think that those will be of use at the moment. Oh, shit, it's nighttime. Whoa. It's the milkman. Wandering winemaker. That's fucking awesome. I would love wine. I would also like your mules. Actually, kind of a lot more. Not just for storage purposes, but... shit, man. Okay, let's get rid of the mustard. Hey, get back here. Oh, God. The villager's going up the tower. And because these guys are on leads, they're stuck to them. Is there any penalty for killing the winemaker? Surely not. Ooh, I got a lead. That is definitely not a penalty. Oh my god, my inventory is a mess. Oh, I'm dedging. Get. Aim? Aim. What does that symbol mean? It is not saddle, is it? Doesn't look like a saddle. Dragon saddle? What the hell? Ah, man, you can't make saddles. 400 mods and there's no recipe for a saddle. Oh, wait, that goblin guy I saw earlier could drop one. Damn. Well, I guess that means that... Wait, mules will drop leather, right? Yeah. Sorry, buddy. Oh, I can't kill it now because I tamed it. Ah, this is stupid. Where's the other one? Get down from there. Ah, fuck. Is this thing increasing my jump height? Minus 20% gravity. Yeah, it is. It's increasing my jump height. Any leather, buddy? No? Damn, he dropped nothing. It's rough out here in the woods. Minus 20% gravity kind of sucks. Messes up my jumping. Honey badger. No, not a honey badger, just a badger. Tons of bees. That looks like a butterfly that I'm going to pretend I didn't see. Oh, the gravity doesn't stop the fall damage, though. Damn. Damn, what am I going to do for leather? Untanned leather. Salvaging. Bee queen trades. Huh. Alright, this is rough. Is there a backpack that doesn't need leather? Or do... I mean, all of them surely need leather. Wait, does that say a bed? Sleeping bag. The fuck? A fox traveler's backpack. What's the difference? Nothing, I guess. Oh my god, a pelican. Well, something strange happened here. There's leaves decaying and a tower that's cut in half. Yeah, this meteorite. Oh, it wasn't me, it was the game. If that tower is cut in half, is the chest up there? There's an apple. Oh, I think the chest got cut in half. Yep. Damn. Unlucky. Oh, I see cows on the minimap. Come here. Wow, look at you all. Aren't we gonna become best friends? And by friends, I mean friends. Sorry, did I say friends? I meant friends. 8 leather, that's enough for 2 backpacks even. Okay, I'm gonna keep looking around. I think this is horses over here on the map. Yeah, horses. Ooh, you can see their speed in the top left. Okay, 10, 9, 13. That's pretty good. You can just kill the ones that suck. Yeah, fuck them up. Ooh, there's horse meat. Taco Bell. America. I meant, um, I meant, okay, dog, sit down. Nothing terrible happened, I swear. All right, this horse will be left alive. Bear witness. Oh, wait, actually. Turn that one back on. Alright, back to the village. Craft up a backpack. Craft up a canteen. And maybe even upgrade the backpack right away to iron. So that it has more space. Is there a glider? Oh, there is. I could make one of these. I could not make one of these. Oop, can't sprint. Oh shoot, is my dog with me? Sort of. Floating in the sky. All right. Cobweb entanglement. Discover a spider cave. Are you sure? Are you sure that's what I just did? Are you sure about that? Tell me there's a spider cave underneath me right now? That's not great. Oh, right here. Alright, I'm just gonna take this house. For now. Oh my god, I have hiccups again in the real world. This is awful. Ouch. Does this change color once it's ready? Nope. Almost just fed the dog. Ouch. Okay. Several things. Get all this food cooked up. Backpack. Oh shoot, I need... Ah. Damn. This one's more affordable. It goes 27 items, 36 diamond, 63, 72 item stacks. I don't know what that means. Purple in the back trinket slot. But this other backpack looks normal. Like the normal kind that you get. Comfort. Oh, it's because I'm near a campfire. Okay. Let's see then. What makes these things... What happened? Oh. The player's going to die. It creates explosion which damages every creature around, granting player absorption, regeneration, and fire protection. Okay, so there's actually a reason to make these. Except the fox. Okay, well, never mind then. It is all negative effects. Okay. What happened? Wait. heard footsteps and I got scared. Sponge. Works like a sponge block and stores water in backpack tanks. It's required to have empty or not fully water-filled tanks for ability to work. Well, I need 2 backpack tanks anyway. So that means glass. Which means put all this shit away.